Miss LA and DJ Solly on Flex Breakfast with Hyper.
Yes, we are. Tuesday the 1st of November, 9:16 in the morning. Great to have you waking up with us round here on Flex FM 101.4 across London, flexfm.co.uk online. And you're not just waking up with us now, you're also waking up with Mr. Michael Head. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for having us down.
Hey.
Thank you for coming down. Great to have you in the studio with us. Writer, creator, star of The Last Heist, premiering in Leicester Square tomorrow. We got a lot to discuss.
Yeah, exciting times.
So let's get straight into it. Let's talk about the backstory, the history, the inspiration for The Last Heist, because it's not like a situation where the movie's based on characters that have come into your head or just been created of nothing, is it?
No, it's based on my life. My granddad, his pals, his brother, his family, and that. So, obviously, it's a fictional setting. It's a fictional scenario, so to speak. But no, all the characters do come from a true point.
What made you base it on that? What was the?
I'll tell you the truth. So, my granddad died years ago, and my nan lived with one of his mates, a guy called Johnny Clark, who's played by Terry Stone in the film. And we watched that. What was it called? The Hatton Garden Job.
Yes.
The one on the telly. And he's there. He's a big brute of a man. We're having Sunday dinner. He's cooked for us. He went, why'd you write something like that? He went, because you know the business. He went, that was like being on a bit of work, a proper job that was. Why'd you write that? So I was explaining, like, I only do theatre. I'm never in a million years going to make a film. And I went, doing theatre, I went, you've got to be a bit smart. You can't just write a gangster play. I went, they won't have it. And that was when I come up with the concept. Went home that night, had a bottle of Jack Daniels, and the next morning, the play, which the film was based on, was written.
Wow.
So yeah, that was it. But I wanted to. The thing is, when you're in prison and you're banged up and that, everyone says, you watch all these films about being hard and that. It ain't. The way you survive it is by being interesting, by being liked, and it's the art of telling stories. So when you grow up with these people that have been banged up, done a bit of porridge and that, you sit in the pub and they just tell stories, and it ain't all. It's comical. It's you sit there, you'll laugh the afternoon away. So I've got a backlog of all these stories of things that have happened, and and they are interesting, And so I decided to sort of use that as the meat to the story sort of thing.
Love that.
And so obviously it was a play first, which sold out. And starred Dapper Laughs as well at that point, who's also in the movie.
Yes.
So what made you did Dapper approach you? Did you approach him?
It's funny. So his agent at the time come to see my play before that I did Worth a Flutter, and he went, "You've got to meet this guy Dan." So I met up with Dan. We went out up in Leicester Square, had a couple of drinks and that. Got on really well with him, and he reminded me of my granddad's brother, Elby, who was known as the Gentleman Robber. I can talk about it now because they're all dead. But he's got, Dan has got Elby's way about him. He's got that mannerism. He's likeable. You can tell he's a bit naughty, but he's charming, and underneath it all, he's a good bloke. And I said to him, look, I'm doing this play up in the West End in a couple of months. I went, you really remind me of the guy, he's fisherman in the play. Do you fancy having a read for it? And he went, look, I haven't really acted for a while, I went, you ain't acting. I went, you like him. So I'm coming home on the train and talking to my wife about it. Well, she's got the kids and I'm on the train and that. She went, I think you was out with a fella called Dapper Laughs. I went, no, I'm out with a guy called Dan. She went, no. And so she's sent me a picture. I went, yeah, that's the fella. And I had no idea who he was. Wow. And then after that, and apparently he's a big deal. And the next thing, that the play sold out in a couple of hours, which is mental. And then everywhere you go, like we've done a read through in the Hilton over in Dartford, and everyone's going up to him, Dapper, and I'm like, I still at this point, I knew who he was, but I didn't know how big he was.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go with a fella, he's getting pulled left, right, and centre. And the play as well, because we had a lot of his fans in the audience. I've never known a play like it. It was mental. It was brilliant, absolutely. But you've got them shouting out, joining in,
getting involved.
Yeah. It was almost a bit like a pantomime, They're 1 minute the guy went to a toilet and sort of stopped. Sorry, Dapper, carry on. It was absolutely. Listen, it could have been worse. He could have been on a plane, I guess. But
Yeah, exactly that. So the actual story is, like you said, based on people that you knew in your family. Quite a quick turnaround of you actually writing the piece, you and Jack overnight. Was it an emotional thing for you to do, to kind of delve into your granddad's past and people he knew that deep?
In a way, I mean, all my writing comes from, because I'm not a writer, you know, I'm not an actor, I'm sort of chief blagger, I want on my gravestone. So all of my stories come from a true point.
Yep.
And so I've always done that. Everything I write is based on people I know. So it is a bit emotional. But also, it was just nice to see the audience react in such a nice way. And what I hope, and as well with the film, is that people are actually bonding with the characters. Because I think villains get a bit of a bad name for some reason. I don't know. But I don't think they're portrayed well. 9 times out of 10, these, you know, the gangster film genre, they're not proper people, they're not proper characters, and it ain't how they are. So I wanted to create something where I'm not glorifying villainy or armed robbery or anything like that. But underneath it all, there's a family bond and these people, and obviously I'm biased because I grew up, I loved them, you know, they're my family. But I did want the audience to sort of go, okay, we're not agreeing with what they did, but hopefully you take to the characters. And to see that in Marbella, I mean, obviously we saw it every night in the play, but to see it with a film audience where I'm sat there watching people reacting to essentially my granddad, and my granddad's best mate John, who was like my girls knew John as their granddad, you know, because they didn't know any different. It is touching, but also the humour of it as well. It's nice to see people.
Yeah, I definitely think the film will surprise people. It's very hard to talk about this movie, like the actual storyline, because of the content of the movie, and I don't want to, because I think it will ruin like everyone's first watch. But I definitely think that when the movie finishes, and me and LA definitely had this when we went after we saw it, and when we were discussing afterwards, it will really make you think. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, and a lot of the movies, like you say, that they might glorify the life, or they might make it comical, or they might get deep with it and show the grittier side of it. And this movie encapsulates, I think, all of that, but also at the end, unlike a lot of them, where you're after when you finish, you'll be like, yeah, that was a quality film, I will see that again. Yeah. This one will actually, as you're away from it, will actually make you think about a lot of things.
Yeah, I think a lot of credit goes to the actors in that. I mean, you've got Sam Gittins, Dan, obviously, Terry. They're absolutely, as the 3 main characters, they're absolutely brilliant. And they portray it in a way that does make them human, which that's what they are. You watch all these films about the craze and all that, and they're portrayed almost as caricatures, which to a greater or lesser, you know, is true. But well, we wanted to make something that was real, and I guess obviously the premise of it is after a bit of work, everyone would go their own ways for 6 months. Yeah. And no one would know where anyone's safe house was. So if you get nicked and they go, Michael's bubbled you, you know that I haven't grassed you because I don't know where you are. So that is the premise of the film, that everyone's done a job, it's gone wrong. They've all gone to their safe houses, and then they meet up in their local pub, it was the Simon in Bermondsey in real life. And that's what happened. And everyone's glad to be back together because you miss your friends, you miss your family. I mean, my granddad always said that his biggest regret was the time that he couldn't spend with his family, and he missed out on me mum and me uncle, whereas that's why he sort of raised me like his own, because I was sort of his second chance. So yeah, it's trying to get that family involved as well, and that sort of that aspect of it.
Yeah, it's like the people behind the mask, because obviously the cover for this is really cool. You've got them there ready to go, bursting out of a building in the Trump masks, which was a really cool touch. Playing on the phrase that he had, obviously, making America great again, making bank heists great again. That was, whose idea was that?
I think that was the director's idea, which was absolutely brilliant. I remember we turned up on day one, and there's these 4 gammy-looking Trump masks there. And straight away, we all just sort of fell in and got it. But yeah, brilliant, absolutely. And Cos Greenup takes the credit for that one. Yeah.
I want to drop back to something you said a minute ago when you mentioned Terry, Sam, and Dan, and like what great performances they were. You left yourself out because like it's got to be highlighted as well. One, we both said like it was a really powerful performance. Yeah. And like you say, it's your debut performance. So taking this from the stage to the screen, and then yourself being on it. Talk to me about like what was that like? Like mentally, like how did you like prepare yourself for it?
Yeah, no, just petrifying. No, I was lucky. When I was young, I did a film with Frank Harper from Lock Stock.
Yeah.
And obviously I trained in theatre, and he just said to me, he went, son, do yourself a favour. He went, if you're on a big giant screen, he went, your eyebrow could be 16 foot big. so stop moving it. And that really sort of stuck with me. But the theatre I do has always been in small venues anyway, so the audience are on top of you. So it's not that different. I think the biggest thing is you don't get, when you're on stage, you get that audience reaction, so you sort of know that you're doing okay. Whereas with camera, you just get cut and that's it, and then you don't know until you watch it. However long later, and I think that's the scariest thing. And also, if you have a bad performance, you've had 100 people in the audience, maybe 200, whatever. You can sort of get away with it. Whereas if you're on camera and you look bad, you're going to get slaughtered for at least the next couple of years, aren't you?
Well, we can both safely say you're not going to get slaughtered for your performance in the film.
They were great performances, and we have teased about it that there is ultimately a twist at the end of the movie. But I do want to, obviously, each of you bring something special to the film. But I also want to talk about Terry only a little bit. I don't want to expose it too much. Obviously, known for being quite a hard man, gets very emotional in this movie.
Yeah, well, like I said, he's based on a guy called Johnny Clark. Again, I can talk about it now because he's passed away. But he was a big brute of a man. He knocked out one of the Crays in prison. Best mates with the Axeman. He was not a killer, but he was a. He might have been a killer, I don't know. But he was a brute of a man.
Yeah.
However, if you watched him with my grandkids, and they weren't his grandkids, with my kids, he loved them. He was a kind man, and I always say what they do, we get up and we go to work. I go to work for my kids. Well, they risk everything for their family, and I know that's sort of that's a get out. No, I don't mean it like that, but. John used to go to work every day thinking I might get 12 years for this. But he did it for his family. So I'm not, again, not glorifying it, not justifying it, but it is about the family bond. And that's where Terry, he nailed it. Because he is, he plays the hard man and he is, Terry can handle himself. But it's also that emotional side of,
being the family man and doing things that you have to. Yeah, 100%. I mean, we're super gassed for tomorrow. Obviously, Marbella went down amazingly. You got a standing ovation at the end. And are you looking forward for that tomorrow?
I'm nervous. No, I've got to say, Marbella, because obviously that was the first time it was in front of a big audience.
Yeah.
And, when we got every character as an exit, so to speak, and everyone got a clap. And then at the end, I've got to be honest, when I got a clap, I did get a bit of a tear in the eye. I'm excited for it, but then there's always that nervous thing of, but what if they don't like it, So I always sit near the back so I can slip off out and just you know what I mean,
just in case.
That
won't happen. We've got a message coming through from Johnny saying, when will we be able to see this movie, and is it out on all platforms? So we do know it is going to be on all digital platforms, and the release date is in a couple of weeks.
It will be on all the platforms from November 14th.
Okay.
And it's also in selected cinemas, Johnny. So check it out. Check your locals, because if it's around you, then definitely go and see it on a big screen if you can. But yeah, I mean, it's all streaming platforms. November the 14th. And obviously, I know some of the listeners here got messaging in. They got their tickets for tomorrow as well. Excited. After party afterwards.
Yeah, can't wait.
Are we putting in the same performance we did in Marbella?
Do you know what? We were talking about the flight earlier. We was with Wizz Air that got cancelled. We got a delayed flight.
Right.
So we worked out from having our first drink in that airport to our final drink that night was a 17-hour bender. So I don't
listen. I'm dropping bombs for that. I rate that.
And I don't know if any of you see my cousin. But he was a bit of a mess. And the next
I'm
day,
pretty sure I saw a picture of you having a kip on the airport floor.
On the way back, I was dead. I'm too old, mate. I can't do it now. Because we had the 25 years of garage the next day.
Yes, we did. Yeah, of course.
And I don't get me. I love a bit of garage, and I'm like, you have the plans that you're right. We're gonna go out, have a bit of two-step. Yeah, love it. Have Jaeger bombs, and then it got to about 10:30, and I was like, I just want a coffee. I'm done. I'm absolutely done.
When the age comes through. But listen, this is not the only thing, because obviously we've got the Last Heist, which is the premiere is happening tomorrow in London. Then it will be out on digital platforms. But there's plenty more to come from you in the pipeline, isn't there?
Yeah. So I've been quite lucky. After doing the Last Heist, Perry Benson plays my dad in it, or my granddad.
Brilliant performance as well.
I love him, absolutely. A bit of an era. I mean, who don't love Fat Alan? You know what I mean? And at the end of the thing, he went, I like you. He went, I like your scripts. He went, it turns out we've got family in common as well. And he went, have you got anything? I went, I've got your script, Bermondsey Tales. Again, based on true stuff. It's a little bit darker. He went, can I give it to my mate? Yeah, all right. Turns out his mate's Ray Burdis, who done Love on a Bay.
Of course, yeah.
So next thing, I met up with Ray. He had a company called Fugitive Films, who they did The Craze, Love on a Bay, Operation Good Guys, a couple of films in America. And he's relaunched the company and brought me in as his partner.
Wow.
And he changed, it was brilliant, so he's my hero. We sat there in Lit with, with Carl and Dan. And he went, son, he went, I love half of it. He went, the other half is absolute tripe. Cheers, mate.
Criticism at its best.
Yeah, absolute tripe. And he went, would you let me rewrite it with you? So we've co-wrote it, changed it. It's now called Mr. Kiss. Dan's in it. The boss man Carlos is in it as well.
Now, here's the thing. Shouts to the big boss Carlos. If you're listening, mate, I'm about to ask a couple of questions about you because he's had all this stuff to do with The Last Heist. And I heard he was in it. And then he got cut out of it.
Yeah, so these are the rumours. No,
Rumours?
Right, so let's set the record straight because...
listen, I don't want to go on the record saying, but he was playing a DJ.
Right.
And he got cut for playing a DJ, which I think is a little bit harsh.
Weren't good enough.
You know.
At 9:32 on Tuesday, the 1st of November, that is probably one of the biggest bombshells that we will ever hear on Flex FM. Yeah. Carlos got cut out of a movie playing a DJ.
Ouch.
Not credible as a DJ, was what they said. I don't know. I'm only joking.
But he's in the next one, which is exciting.
So Carl's got he's in our one. He's in playing a boxing ref, and he's absolutely brilliant. Actually, I'm not saying it in case he's listening, but he's a natural. So Mr. Kiss, and I mean the cast for that's phenomenal as well. So I've been really lucky.
Yeah, I mean let's touch on that because can we talk about the cast and that?
Yeah,
Are we allowed to
of course.
mention the names?
Yeah. No, it's filmed now, so they can't leave.
Right, Martin Kemp.
Martin Kemp plays my brother. What a liberty that is. All right, I'm not going to lie. Right, there is nothing. I'm not homophobic, but there ain't a gay bone in my body. Now, first day on set, I'm playing his brother, and I'm playing an out-and-out wrong and like proper wrong in this one. And the first thing he does is shout at me. And as he shouted at me, it's my first scene. I'm a little bit overwhelmed by everything going on. And I looked at him, I just thought, you're really pretty. You are, so we're going to have to do that again. So Martin Kemp, he's superb. Yeah. Michelle Collins plays Dan's mum, Dapper's mum.
Right.
We got Sadie Frost, David Shaw from In Betweeners, who was in the original play of Time.
John Hannah as well.
Yeah, so John Hannah is playing Vaz Blackwood's identical twin.
Now, for anyone who can't put Vaz Blackwood's face to his name, anyone who's seen Only Fools and Horses, The Shadow, anyone who's seen Rory Breaker in Lock, Stock, that is Vaz Blackwood, and he's playing John Hannah's identical twin.
Yeah, so they're called the Turk twins.
Right, was there a bottle of Jack when this one was consumed as
Yeah,
well?
this was brilliant. This was so me and Ray we're writing this together, and it's literally getting more and more ridiculous. And when we met John, obviously John's, I think he's an Oscar-nominated actor. He's serious actor.
Yeah, of course.
4 Winds and the Funeral and that.
Yeah.
And he went, so do you want me to play it Turkish, or do you want me to do it in my full like Glaswegian accent? He went, no, jock it up. So he's doing it in this thick Glaswegian accent. Vaz is doing it as Vaz, and they're just absolutely brilliant. And then they've got another brother called Ro, who Ro is also in The Last Heist.
Yes, yeah.
And he's playing their older twin. And for Ro's sort of half Indian.
Yeah.
So between the three of them, and then they're the Turk twins.
What am I hearing?
They're in this Turkish club, and I'll let this is an exclusive as well. So there's Algerian flags, and we've done it that it's a joke because they've not even got we got the wrong flags up. Right. And it wasn't until after we come down, they ain't Turkish flags, mate. How do you know? Because of the football. That ain't when we play Turkey. That ain't the flag that's flying. And they're like, we've either got to reshoot the whole scene. Well, I went, no, it's funnier that we've got everything in this, and it's absolutely them two together, and with Ro as well. It's just mental. But the whole film's mental. It's sort of like Love on a Bay on LSD. It's a mad
film. No, but it's looking forward to it because, like you said, there's so many big names in it as well, and lots of people making their acting debuts as well. It's great that you give people these platforms as well.
People gave me a chance, and I'm very, very lucky. And it's the same. And I've got to say, Dan, obviously, Dapper's the main part in it. He's absolutely brilliant. absolutely superb. Because it's him and Charlie Clapham that sort of hold the film. The plot for that one is they're two best friends.
Yep.
Dan is sort of taken under Martin Kemp's wing and goes down the crime route, and Charlie Clapham goes down the acting route. And then he ends up getting a part in a gangster film, so he shadows the family. And obviously everything goes wrong. But they hold the film together. Yeah. And they're absolutely brilliant. And they're a little bit, when we was writing it, they are based on Del Boy and Rodney. So you got Dapper as the Del Boy guy, and Charlie is this, and there's this great bit where everything goes wrong, and you just see Charlie look at him and go, Dan, I love you. You know, get out of it. That film's going to be very, very different to The Last Heist. Very, very different. Exciting times.
Loads of messages rolling in. People excited for The Last Heist, which is premiering in Leicester Square tomorrow. Yeah. Red carpet, flashing lights, after party afterwards. I can't wait. But I want to talk to you about filming that again, because like we said, there's some stellar performances in there. I want to talk to you about what it was like. A couple of lines on each actor.
Lovely, yeah.
All right, so
getting the goss.
That's it. Let's start with it. Let's do ladies first, because obviously you got again, we don't want to say too much, but there's some very powerful scenes with your wife on screen, Rachel Warren.
Yes.
So what was it like working with Rachel?
Do you know what? She was brilliant. Just because of the nature of the way the script's written, she was only in for a couple of days. But although she's not in it that much, the scenes are pretty hard-hitting scenes. Just absolutely top-class professional, lovely person. I know Rachel really well now. And what was brilliant was just sitting there, 1 minute you're chatting. And that's the difference. When you're on stage, you work your way through it. Where all of a sudden she's like, tea, coffee, lovely, how you doing? Oh, yeah, I've just got, walking the dog. And then, bosh, she's into it. Yeah. It was brilliant to watch.
Do you know, actually, I'm sure she won't mind us saying this, because she actually said this to us on camera when we were at the premiere in Marbella. But she actually really spoke highly of you, because she said she was going through some real emotional, personal stuff at the time. She just lost one of her grandparents. And she said, you really helped her draw on her emotions to go through the scenes, and said how because I asked her the same question, really, give me a few lines on each of the actions. When we came to you, she said really supportive guy, probably couldn't have done the scenes I had to do without him. So,
it's lovely to hear. It's nice.
Terry Stone.
Oh, he's brilliant. He's a joker. And I've got to be honest, because it was my first film, and obviously I know that it was this, basically they took a risk on me, didn't they? Terry and Dan took a massive risk on me. And not only on the script, but also putting me in it. And a bit very nervous. And then he's a lovely bloke, very welcoming, very warm, really, really nice fella. And then he just jokes about all day. He's professional, he gets everything done. But I think it's his way of breaking the ice and letting you know that you can be comfortable and you can be relaxed.
The friendly one.
Yeah. Believe it, who'd think it Tony Tucker, the friendly one. But no, he is. He's just, and he's a really, really funny bloke. And that's what he was. You get a lot of actors that sort of, they go off in their corner, they find their character, they find their chi, doing yoga and all that. He's just sitting there cracking jokes, and then bosh, he's on camera, and he nails it every time as well. Terry, I would say Terry was definitely the joker of the lot.
That's interesting.
I was. Do you know what? Now you said that. Now let me ask you then about Dan Dapper, because I would have figured he would have been the joker on set.
No, do you know what? Dan is literally the ultimate professional. I think because he's had the career that he's had, where he had it, lost it, and he's coming back. He won't. He works so hard that he won't allow himself to be criticised. You know what I mean? He's a model professional. He's funny, and when you're on lunch breaks and that, he'll do a prank. And we done a blinding one on the last film we did, where we scratched his car, and he went mental. It's on Instagram. It's hilarious.
I think I saw that. Yeah,
it's brilliant. So he is. You can have a joke with him.
Brilliant.
No, it's hilarious.
Because you think it was his McLaren, wasn't it? And it was, and so he's come out, and I remember seeing he's who's done that. Yeah.
But he is. So Dan will have a laugh, but only during lunch.
At the right time.
When it's time. Yeah.
Or we're that's where he's a genius as well. We do something and go we've done this one where we're all walking through to the reservoir, and he goes the wrong way. And so he's always thinking about a comedy joke, but it's the way he sets it
clever
up.
with it.
Yeah, whereas when he's on camera, he's always trying to learn from everyone. Not that he needs to, because he's brilliant, but if he can watch you and get something from you.
Yeah.
So no, Dan actually isn't a joker on set. He's actually...
He's there to learn for himself.
He's a model professional, believe it or not.
Wow.
But then you have him in outside of that, he's an absolute nightmare. But when there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was speaking to you both on the red carpet out in Marbella, and I was trying to be serious with Martin. And he was just in with the jokes when he was just like, "No, look, you've had your time."
Yeah, I said when I see stand up, he's off the cuff remarks and that.
Yeah,
he's second
he's
to
brilliant.
none. And
he's brilliant.
He is just a funny bloke.
Yeah.
But he isn't. He won't mess about. I think it's also out of politeness, because if you're messing about, I might be putting you off, and he won't do that because that would be what I'd say about Dan.
And Sam,
unbelievable actor.
Yeah,
he was absolute touch of class. And for me, being a theatre actor was scary. And then on day one, when you're working with Sam, and you're like, this guy's good.
Yeah.
Like I was saying off air, I play me. That's the trick to it. Play yourself, and hopefully people will half believe you. Unless you're a DJ and you get cut for being a DJ. But as a rule, but Sam is an actor. Like whatever he's playing, he'll nail it. I can't wait to work with him again. I just thought he was just an absolutely.
A very good performance.
Yeah,
very
unreal.
Good performance.
Yeah, I just think I've worked with actors for years now, and I really put him up there. I think he's fantastic.
Oh, lots of love on set then, I'm sure.
And
Absolutely.
also he's a boxer, isn't he? So I thought, just in case, he's a bit quick for me. So I'll be nice.
Be on the good side. Yeah, 100%. And also, I just want to point out, because there is little bits and clips and stuff as well. Like so like you said, Lit is like the main bar that is used in the movie, and you have a photo wall within the movie as well, which has not only you guys as actors and actresses on there, but also family members that people may not know about.
Yes, so I don't know if you've seen, there's a video of me and Dan talking about my granddad when he was on the trot. So in his defence, it was the 70s, but still, there's no excuse for this Barnett.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's the one online.
Yeah, he looks like it's like a poodle, isn't it? Let's go.
Yeah.
But he said to me, what's that about? He went, well, I'm incognito, son. He went, I don't want to be recognised. I went, then why are you drawing attention to yourself with that hairdo? Like, what's going on? But yeah, there's a picture of me mum on her wedding day as well, and sadly my mum passed away, so it is emotional.
Yeah.
And there was a great bit on the wall where you've got my actual granddad and my mum, and underneath you've got Perry who's playing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And especially now I know Perry. Like Perry's one of my best mates, So it is. It was. But when I see that on day one, I didn't know, and it did choke me. I did get a little bit.
Yeah, it's a lot to look at, isn't it, really? It's just like peace back then, present times, and the future, and everything else.
Listen, I wish we had a longer show, to be fair, because there's so much more we could discuss.
Much,
there is. But Michael's with us till 10 anyway. I'm going to drop into a record. When we come back, there's something... do you know what? I was going to give him a warning to think about it. Actually, I'll do it. I'll be kind. I don't want to throw you under the bus. I'm going to ask you to think about what your favourite scene to shoot in the movie was and why. Just asked Michael Heads, writer, creator, star of The Last Heist, which is premiering in Leicester Square tomorrow night, and then dropping on November the 14th on all platforms and selected cinemas. What his favourite scene to shoot in a movie was. He went, oh, and I spun a song. So, go for it.
Right, well, I don't want to give too much away. The nice, obviously, it's nice, the comedy and that, and the scenes that are more opening. But I can tell you my worst scene.
Okay.
So, again, without giving anything away, I'm going through an emotional time, shall we say. I'm on the floor, and for the context, there's this camera, massive camera, about 6 inches from my head.
Oh,
right.
And I've got to basically go a bit mental. So I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And the director went, cut. He went, perfect, one take. But I didn't hear that, and Dap has gone, make him do it again. So I'm thinking, again. after about 4 or 5 times, I've looked up and I've gone to, and I'm like petrified now because I think this is a big scene. I think I'm
and
ruining,
you're in front of people as well, isn't it?
And I feel like I'm ruining the film, and also time's money. Like I'm wasting Terry's money here, which is something I don't want to be doing, you know. So I looked at the director and I went, well, you know, what's the problem? What, you know, give me a bit of advice and I can change it. No, you've done it in one take. He went, Dan just keeps going again. But I kind of got revenge because on the next one, Mr. Kiss, we've got Chazza.
Yes.
And Andy Mills.
Yes.
And they're beating up Perry Benson. And as they're kicking him, all dust is going over his glasses. Oh. And they've done it in one take. And I looked at the director, Ray, and I went, again? And Ray went, of course. Again. And in the end, Perry's got all dust over it. This ain't funny, you lot, you're messing me about.
So, I can imagine Andy loved that. Yeah.
But it was definitely better being on the other end of it than the first time. Because I was a bit heartbroken as well. Like, I'm doing this wrong. And you get all, like, actors are all... We're all a little bit ski with him. We're like, what's wrong? Tell me, what am I doing wrong? And he's like, no, just Dan, again.
Note to the acting world, if you're on set with Michael Head any time in the future and you think you've nailed something, you probably have. But he's just there for the bants.
Isn't it? You got pranked and then that's on that you've taken under your belt now and go, oh, that's quite a good one. I'll use that in the future.
It was just watching Perry shoot up with all mud over it, dirt over his glasses. You lot are messing me about, aren't you? And we're just in stitches and over in the corner. Carl was with us as well, absolutely, yeah. And we sort of said to Chazza and Andy, look, no, spot on, do exactly what you're doing. We're just doing this to...
I want to wind up.
Yeah.
I can imagine so much went down on that one because obviously with The Last Heist, it's quite a small cast, you know, it's only a handful of people. With this one, it sounds like everyone is in this, so there must have been pranks galore.
So we're in this, so we filmed Mr. Kiss in Sidcup, that's where I'm based, and I pulled on, obviously, a few favours. And there's this bit, again, I can't say too much, but Vaz Blackwood's in a wheelchair. And he's injured in some way, but it's very, very noticeable. So he's drove out onto the bypass, laying there like he's dead. And every time a car comes past, he's jumping at him like a zombie, which was funny. And I see a video, I went, oh, that's funny. And I went, where is he? I went, he's still out there. He was doing it for about 45 minutes. Which that actually made me laugh even more. I just had
dedication.
Visions. Yeah. Dedication to the bit. Yeah, what he didn't eat that day. What did you do during lunch? I did this. Yeah.
Ways to pass the time.
That's it. That is it. Well, we want to say a massive thank you, of course, for joining us this morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just for all the fun that was had in Marbella and, of course, all the stuff that's still yet to happen tomorrow night. It's going to be a mad one. We know that there's still party tickets available.
That's it. After party tickets are available. They're £30. Go and grab them before they're gone because the premiere is already sold out, which means the after party is about to. And if you want to come and party with us tomorrow night, obviously DJ M's on the night, Mr. Lay on the night, Eddie Boxer on the night, and myself giving you all the vibes. You know it's going off.
Yes. Are you ready to get suited and booted?
Yeah. Can't wait. Yeah, got my whistle all picked out and that.
Nice.
My missus might even iron my shirt. You never know.
Listen, we were suited and booted, but it was hot in Marbella. And it was a struggle, wasn't it?
I think I had my jacket on for while I was talking to you and Dan, and then the minute that interview was done, I looked at LA and went, right, take this now. I had the right up.
I had to keep my jacket on because I'd done obviously we watched the film and then we went to eat in between going to the after party.
Right.
And I actually dropped some mayonnaise on my shirt and I was wearing a black shirt. So I had to keep me jacket on, not for a fashion statement, just because I look like one of them.
You couldn't do that. No, you can't.
Our hotel was right behind where the cinema and the after party club was. So I literally, from seeing the movie, I went back, t-shirt and shorts, trainers and a hat, and I was back in the after party.
But tomorrow it's gonna be cold, so everyone will be looking nice and crisp, I'm sure.
But I can't wait. And like I said, if anyone out there wants to come down, please do. And say hello to the cast. Like I said, everyone's really friendly. They're lovely people. And I do, obviously I'm going to say that, but I do think it's going to be a blinding night. So, looking forward to it.
Really looking forward to it. Loads of the Flex FM family going to be in attendance as well. Shouts to everyone who's coming down. Come say hey, come party with us.
That's